Hi dreamers! Before we get started with our magical story today, I wanted to ask you to please take a minute to subscribe to my channel. I post bedtime stories daily, and each subscriber helps me continue these magical fairy tale adventures. Today, we will be telling the story of a whimsical girl named Jessica as she puts her skills to use in her magical greenhouse. Get comfy and prepare to drift off into Dreamland. Nestled in a verdant valley where ancient trees with gnarled roots whispered secrets to the mossy earth and sunlight dappled through the emerald canopy, lay the small village of Willowbrook. Cobblestone paths wound between charming cottages with thatched roofs adorned with climbing roses and vibrant window boxes overflowing with herbs. The air was alive with the scent of damp earth, blooming wildflowers, and the faint, sweet aroma of wood smoke curling from cottage chimneys. Beyond the village, the mystical Whisperwood stretched in all directions, its depths rumored to hold ancient magic and elusive creatures. In a cozy cottage on the edge of Willowbrook, where the forest met the village, lived Jessica. She was a petite girl with hair as long and flowing as a summer waterfall, the color of sun-ripened wheat. Her skin was as pale as the petals of a snowdrop, and her eyes large in the clear blue of a summer sky held a spark of gentle magic and unwavering determination. Jessica was a kitchen witch, her magic woven into the very fabric of her cooking, her garden a source of enchantment, and her heart brimming with a desire to nurture her community. Jessica's cottage was a whimsical haven. Ivy climbed the stone walls, its leaves whispering secrets to the wind. Window boxes overflowed with fragrant basil, rosemary, and thyme, their scents mingling with the sweet aroma of baking bread that often wafted from within. Inside, the cottage was a cozy jumble of dried herbs hanging from the rafters, shelves lined with colorful jars of spices and preserves, and a large, well-worn wooden table at the heart of it all, often covered in flour dust and the remnants of her latest culinary creation. Sunlight streamed through the windows, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air like tiny, glittering fairies. As the seasons turned their endless dance around Willowbrook, painting the landscape in a kaleidoscope of colors, Jessica noticed a recurring challenge for her village. In the heart of winter, when snow blanketed the mystical forests and frost clung to every branch, fresh produce became scarce. The vibrant fruits and vegetables of summer were distant memories, and the villagers relied on preserved goods and root vegetables. A similar scarcity touched them in the scorching heat of high summer, when some crops withered under the intense sun. Jessica's heart ached to provide her community with the fresh, nourishing ingredients they deserved throughout the year. This problem became a gentle hum in Jessica's thoughts, a seed of determination that began to sprout. She spent hours in her whimsical garden, a riot of colorful vegetables, fragrant herbs, and climbing fruit vines, observing the ebb and flow of the seasons. She consulted her well-worn books on herbalism and kitchen magic, her brow furrowed in concentration as she sought a solution. She spoke with the wise old women of the village, their faces etched with the wisdom of generations, gleaning their knowledge of traditional growing methods and the subtle magic of the land. One crisp autumn afternoon, as golden leaves swirled around her like enchanted confetti, an idea sparked in Jessica's mind, as bright and promising as the harvest moon rising over Whisperwood. A greenhouse. But not just any greenhouse. A magical greenhouse, one that could defy the changing seasons, harnessing the earth's energy and the subtle magic of the forest to create a perpetual haven for her plants. Jessica began to gather her resources. She enlisted the help of her kind neighbors, Thomas, the village carpenter, with his strong hands and gentle nature, helped her construct the sturdy wooden frame of the greenhouse, using timber sustainably sourced from the edge of Whisperwood. Ilara, the village's most skilled glassblower, with her artistic flair and a touch of earth magic in her hands, crafted shimmering panes of glass that seemed to capture and amplify the sunlight. Old Man Fitzwilliam, the village elder and a keeper of ancient lore, shared his knowledge of ley lines and the best location to harness the earth's energy for her magical endeavor. Building the magical greenhouse was a labor of love, filled with both challenges and triumphs. There were days when the glass panes wouldn't quite fit, requiring Ilara to sing gentle earth songs to coax them into place. There were moments when the frame seemed unsteady, needing Thomas to imbue the wood with his strength and a silent blessing for growth. And there were times when Jessica doubted her own abilities, the enormity of the task feeling overwhelming, but the unwavering support of her neighbors and her deep desire to help her village kept her going. Finally, the magical greenhouse stood gleaming in a sunny corner of Jessica's land, its glass panes reflecting the surrounding forest like a shimmering jewel. Inside, the air felt different, warmer somehow, and filled with a subtle, vibrant energy. Jessica carefully prepared the soil, mixing it with compost from her magical garden and whispering gentle incantations for growth and abundance. She began planting seeds and cuttings, nurtured with water drawn from a spring, blessed by the forest spirits, and infused with her own kitchen magic. Soon, tiny green shoots began to emerge, defying the autumn chill. Tomatoes ripened in the heart of winter, strawberries blushed red under a blanket of snow, and fragrant herbs thrived even when the outside world was frozen. Jessica's magical greenhouse was a sanctuary of perpetual bloom and verdant growth, a testament to her kitchen witchcraft and the harmonious blend of natural energy and gentle enchantment. Sunlight streamed through the shimmering glass panes, casting a warm golden glow on the thriving plants within, regardless of the season outside. The air hummed with a quiet energy, a symphony of rustling leaves, buzzing bees that seemed to appear even in the depths of winter, and the subtle whispers of growing things. Inside, the greenhouse was a carefully orchestrated ecosystem. Trellises adorned with luminous vines of ever-bearing strawberries climbed towards the glass roof, their ruby fruits gleaming like tiny jewels amidst the vibrant green foliage. Rows of plump tomatoes in shades of scarlet, sunshine yellow, and deep crimson ripened on the vine, their fragrant scent mingling with the peppery aroma of basil and the sweet perfume of blooming bell peppers. Lush beds overflowed with crisp lettuce, vibrant spinach, and feathery kale, their leaves unfurling in a perpetual state of freshness. In one corner, bathed in a soft, focused light that seemed to emanate from embedded crystals, thrived a collection of rare and magical herbs. Silvery moonwort shimmered, its leaves unfurling under the gentle enchantment that mimicked moonlight. Its golden cinquefoil bloomed year-round, its tiny flowers radiating a subtle warmth, and sprigs of inner light, their leaves a vibrant, almost luminous green, pulsed with a gentle energy that filled the greenhouse with a sense of well-being. Jessica's daily routine revolved around the care and tending of her magical greenhouse. Each morning, as the sun rose over Whisperwood, she would enter its warm embrace, her long blonde hair catching the golden light. She would greet each plant with a gentle touch and a whispered blessing, her connection to them deep and intuitive. She watered them with water drawn from the enchanted spring, sometimes infusing it with herbal teas to nourish specific needs. She turned the soil with a small, hand-carved wooden trowel, humming ancient gardening rhymes that encouraged growth and vitality. She would prune and train the vines, her nimble fingers coaxing them to yield their bounty. She would carefully harvest the ripe fruits and vegetables, her basket overflowing with nature's vibrant gifts. She would spend time amongst the herbs, gently stroking their leaves, absorbing their magical properties, and carefully gathering what she needed for her remedies and culinary creations. The greenhouse was her sanctuary, a place where she felt most connected to the magic of the earth and the rhythm of life. As Jessica's magical greenhouse flourished, yielding a bounty of fresh produce regardless of the season, she pondered the best way to share her gifts with Willowbrook. Carrying baskets of delicate berries and armfuls of crisp lettuce through the winding village paths felt inefficient, and she longed for a more accessible way for her neighbors to partake in the magic she cultivated. Gazing out from her cottage window, her eyes fell upon the small patch of land at the bottom of her driveway, where wildflowers danced in the gentle breeze. An idea sparked in her mind, as bright and promising as the first strawberry of spring: a farm stand. A self-service stand, nestled amongst the wildflowers, would allow villagers to easily access her year-round harvest whenever they needed it. It would be a place of trust and community, where neighbors could select what they needed and leave a fair payment in return. With a surge of excitement, Jessica set about planning her charming little roadside shop. She envisioned a small, sturdy structure built from local wood, its roof adorned with moss and trailing vines, blending seamlessly with the natural beauty of her cottage surroundings. Once again, the spirit of Willowbrook shone through. When Jessica shared her idea, Thomas, the village carpenter, eagerly offered his skills, his eyes twinkling with enthusiasm for another collaborative project. Old Man Fitzwilliam, with his deep knowledge of the land, helped her choose the perfect spot, ensuring it was blessed by the gentle energies of the earth. Even Alara, her hands still imbued with the magic of glass, crafted whimsical, hand-painted signs for the stand, depicting colorful fruits, fragrant herbs, and steaming bowls of soup. Ilara's signs, depicting plump pumpkins, bright red apples, and delicate sprigs of lavender, added a touch of artistic charm. Jessica even added a small, hand-carved wooden box with a slot for payments and a sign that read, "Help yourself, pay with a kind heart." Finally, the little farm stand stood ready at the bottom of Jessica's driveway. Nestled amongst the blooming wildflowers, a beacon of fresh produce and magical goodness. Word spread through Willowbrook like the scent of freshly baked bread, and a buzz of anticipation filled the air. The villagers were eager to see what delights Jessica, the kitchen witch, would offer from her year-round harvest. The morning of the farm stand's unofficial opening dawned with a golden sunrise. Jessica filled the shelves with her most vibrant offerings. Baskets overflowed with plump, ruby-red strawberries that tasted of summer sunshine, crisp heads of emerald lettuce, and bunches of fragrant basil and thyme. Jars of her sunshine berry jam and forest honey elixir gleamed invitingly. Crusty loaves of her rosemary and sea salt bread sat beside warm, comforting containers of her healing vegetable soup, its aroma wafting gently on the breeze. As the first villagers strolled by, their eyes widened with delight at the sight. Young Rory, clutching a few wildflowers he had picked, was mesmerized by the vibrant colors. Old Mrs. McTavish carefully selected a bunch of Jessica's fragrant lavender, her face softening with a smile. Even Agnes, her usual skepticism tempered by curiosity, peered at the plump tomatoes that seemed to defy the season. The self-service system worked on a foundation of trust and community spirit. Villagers carefully chose what they needed, their coins and small notes clinking into the wooden payment box. Many left small extra tokens of gratitude, a handful of freshly picked wildflowers, a beautifully smooth stone, a hand-knitted bookmark. It was more than just a transaction. It was an exchange of kindness and appreciation. Throughout the day, the farm stand became a gathering place. Neighbors chatted as they selected their produce, sharing recipes and news. Children pointed at the magical-looking herbs and asked Jessica about their properties. The air was filled with the happy murmur of conversation, the gentle rustling of leaves, and the enticing aromas of fresh produce and baked goods. Jessica watched from her cottage window, her heart overflowing with warmth. Her little farm stand wasn't just a place to sell her harvest. It had become a focal point for the community, a place where neighbors connected, shared, and experienced a little bit of everyday magic. The year-round bounty from her enchanted greenhouse, now readily available at the bottom of her driveway, was not only nourishing their bodies, but also nurturing the bonds of their beloved village, bringing Willowbrook closer together, one fresh, magical offering at a time. My dear little dreamers, may your dreams be filled with magic, kindness, and adventures of your own. Good night, sleep well, and I'll see you again soon for another Dreamland tale.